and welcome everybody, and happy Tuesday. Hey, first of all, this is really going to be an exciting segment. It's called Ready to Launch, How to Bring Your Tech Product Idea to Market, hosted by an all-star cast at SAM Solutions, which is a global software development company with local roots. This is your co-host, Mike Rojo. I'm a sales executive, a startup advisor, and a local Somerville resident. And I'm here joined by our very own Managing Director and President of U.S. Operations, Dmitry Koshkin. Welcome, Dmitry. And this is going to be a very exciting hour filled with some technical expertise on three very hot subjects. We're also going to share some real-life experiences, special guidance on steps needed to bring all these innovative ideas into a viable business. And it's all about taking a vision and bringing it to light. Now, Dmitry, let's talk just real briefly here, who's here today.
So, Michael, just wanted to confirm you can see the slide which is being presented.
Yes, we are here, yes.
Awesome, good. So we have here the whole team of SAM Solutions. We have Dmitry, myself, we have Michael, who is our great account manager out of Boston area. We also have quite a few folks from Europe today. So for the three breakdown sessions, we have Boris Burenkov, our mobile and .NET expert from Minsk, Belarus. We also have Vadim Gusev, our web architect, who will be driving the web development workshop session out of St. Petersburg, Russia. And we'll have Andrei Andreyanov, the embedded expert, also out of Belarus. Michael.
Excellent, thank you so much. And today, as we kind of get moving forward here, we're going to just do a little house cleaning. So the first part is going to be the presentation that's here in this room. So thank you guys all for joining and making it to this room. After our initial half-hour presentation, we are going to have an option to break up into three parallel workshops. Of course, the main section is going to be here. That's going to talk about the mobile environment. We're also going to have two alternative rooms, one specific for web development and also one specific for embedded or IoT products. If you're unfamiliar with that, that includes wearables and other actual physical products coming to light. Excellent. So once again, ready to launch how to bring your tech product idea to market. It's an implementation framework suitable for startups. We also work with large companies, and we'll talk about that shortly. Once again, the mobile application, the web application, the IoT and embedded product with the startup checklist for examples of using embedded RTOS-based COM solutions. So as we kind of go to the next one, real brief about SAM Solutions and who we are. So we bring over 27 years of expertise in the business. When we were established in 1993, actually we were started and established in Germany. And as of today, we've grown to a huge company with over 800 employees. And even better, some of our customers are still with us from going back 20 plus years. And in doing so, of course, we work with small startups and large companies. Now, our global presence spans the globe from, of course, headquarters in Germany to operations and U.S. operations here in Boston, Norwood region. Also large buildings in Belarus, in Germany, of course, and Amsterdam, and of course, the Ukraine. Now, coming back to the Startup Week, why it's important for us is we do and understand completely how a business grows and builds. And in doing so, we, of course, have some of the biggest companies in the world as customers, whether it's Fujitsu or Siemens or SAP. We're there to help them. We're also there to help these starting businesses with our expertise and level of knowledge. And in doing so today, we're going to take that to the startup community here in Boston, and we're really excited to kind of share that with you. With that being said, Dmitry, tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. A good morning to everyone. First of all, thank you for joining today's session on how to bring your tech idea to the market. Through our life, which has been 27 years already for some of us, as tech professionals, we've seen a lot of different implementations. And of course, we've used a lot of different frameworks, like, some of those are presented here. like software development lifecycle, technology readiness level approach, which is the DoD typical framework. It's being presented here on this slide, and many more like modern approaches like Agile or DevOps. They all have their pros and cons. And for a startup community, together with initiating our startup support program, of course, we wanted to create a more lightweight version of this framework, which we're presenting today. It would suit both all three basically technologies we picked. That would be mobile, web development, and embedded IoT. And our tech experts, of course, will give you more background and in those breakout sessions. Just to set the vocabulary and the basic language here, under the embedded system, or IoT system, I'll be understanding a microprocessor-based system of hardware and software designed to perform certain dedicated functions within a larger mechanical or electrical system. So it's the heart and brain of pretty much any technical product you have on the market today. So the basic methodology is quite straightforward. Here's the framework itself. We have 4 phases presented here on the screen, and let's have a closer look into those phases. And we'll of course share with you some experience out of our background, and the team will be able to dive even deeper with certain aspects which are dedicated, which are a part of the technologies they work in. Of course, any enterprise, any business, any startup will start with a discovery phase. You are going to the market and you always start with your business idea. A lot of startups we've seen and we've worked with so far, of course, have certain subject matter experts from the field with a deep knowledge, or it's just an entrepreneur seeing an opportunity where others see a problem or certain disruption on the market. So recent examples, of course, are artificial intelligence and telemedicine and healthcare, IoT, and home appliances. I have the whole house is now connected to my mobile, and I can switch it using my voice. And of course, security and tracking systems and multiple mobile applications in financial fields and social networking. A few tips on how to formulate your business idea are given here on the screen. Of course, you guys are professionals in that, but of course, the first question is there a problem needs to be solved. Whenever you've seen the problem, you want to ask certain questions and come up with the idea how you can solve it, right? So after the idea was identified, you want to conduct certain basic research. Again, you are the field experts here, but we just wanted to highlight a few points. You define your problem and the idea how to solve it, and you just want to dive deeper and understand commercial and technological aspects. Some of the questions we wanted to highlight for you are given on this slide. First of all, is there a technology gap? So you found a problem on the market and you want to see, is there a technology or there's a lack of technology that can be applied? As well, we are all talking about the technologies today, so that's why it's the main focus. We want to see if we can apply certain technology to solve this problem or not. Is there an existing market? If not, if there is no market, what are the regulatory aspects and barriers? And of course, if there is a potential to enter the existing market or create a new one, what are the financial aspects and who is the potential customer? And of course, if there are certain technologies on the market and products on the market, how you are going to compete with those guys. Having all these answers, you probably want to switch over to formulating your concept. So based on the result of your research, you are going to come up with your very first, very raw concept that is going to be groomed during the next phases. As a part of this concept, you want to break down your idea into the functions or features of the product you are creating. You want to map these features versus the technologies you want to apply. Probably a few mock-ups or simple user flows or case studies would be very helpful to be created now and help you in the future. after you finalized your first idea, your first concept, of course, you are going to dive deeper into research and development. And it's basically the foundation for your further implementation phase. You have your idea and your initial concept, and of course, it's just a first step. To present this idea to the market, or of course to your tech team that is going to implement this idea, you probably want to create something more visual. So for web app and mobile app, this would be wireframes, user flows, and your clickable prototype. For embedded product, this will be your first so-called breadboard prototype, which we're going to talk a bit later. So for the for software side, there are multiple different software products to help you with creating these initial wireframes and clickable prototypes. And we've put just a few examples on the screen here. So from our experiences, business analysts and some people without the design background may feel more comfortable with software like Axure and Balsamiq. But of course, the designers love more Adobe XD, Figma, Sketch, Envision, and some others. So please make some notes and use this software when creating proof of concepts, prototypes for your potential investors or development team. So using this software, you can demonstrate your idea without spending much money. It's like the very first step of this initial phase, and this will also help to get a more refined budget estimate from your development team. On the screen, you see just a couple of examples from Axure. This is the real examples from one of our projects. Sometimes it's enough to just get the basic flow and black and white wires, but sometimes you need to apply a real design depending on your needs, skills, and budget. In this case, it was enough. And of course, as I said, embedded is a bit a different world. It's basically a physical product. And by research and development, by proof of concept in this space, you want to build your first so-called breadboard prototype, which is basically wiring your selected elements, sensors, and hardware together. As you can see here, this is far from the final product, and the main goal is to basically experiment with different components, trying to understand the idea, if it would fly, and what's the platform hardware you will need to build on. In our separate today's workshop, our expert Andre will give some more details and describe a step-by-step process, how to prototype and how it looks like. And he'll also share some hints you need to take into account when preparing for building a prototype in the embedded field. So you've basically played with your prototype, you've built a clickable concept, you put together your wires, some of the requirements, and the next step during the research and development, of course, is to understand your architecture and technology candidates. This is one of the important aspects. And each of the technologies we are discussing today have their own aspects when it comes to the tech stack. And you will hear more details during the following workshops. Michael, sorry.
So real quick, Dmitry, I just wanted to kind of see this screen. So it looks like we have a Sunbox architecture design. I just want to do a quick shout out to Gary Alston, if he's out there, from Sunny Mates, who is a startup company out of New York and Los Angeles. And they created a great technology box in which you could have parcel shipments come through. And it was all started with a great concept. So thank you, Dmitry. Continue on.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much, Michael, for picking this example. Yes, that's exactly right. And this startup basically followed this recommended process, which we're presenting now. So no, that's a great case. Thank you. So yeah, and that's, as it's stated on the screen, each part of your architecture and every aspect of the technology may play a crucial role in the future and then put certain limitations. So you definitely want to think about scalability, security, maintainability, performance, and as main areas. Of course, you probably don't want to reinvent the wheel, and you want to reuse some of the components that are available on the market. As you can see here in the example, we used AWS Cloud, We use some of the existing sensors and technologies and mobile platforms, of course. And this is the phase which is perfect, which is a perfect time to consult with either a third-party software team or just hire a CTO and start, brainstorming with him about the technology stack you are going to use. Imagine you define your technologies, you have the outline of your, or basically the initial idea of your architecture and all technologies. So you are basically going to move to the implementation phase. The next step is basically put together all the final designs. So you can break it down into a few sections. So for software, that would be UI, UX, that would be wires, mockups, business requirements, we call it user stories, architecture documents, and technical designs. For embedded, that would be your product schematics, architecture, components, enclosure design. That's pretty much it. And when the design is completed, your team will work on basically implementing this design and presenting as the next step, which is the alpha prototype. So basically, what is the alpha prototype is the initial attempt at designing and fabricating the product to meet the requirements we discussed before. Everything is built according to the specifications, and it's also the first attempt at making it look like a final product and work like the final product, be it software or be it a technical product, the embedded product. It's more of a commercial grade solution comparing to just the clickable prototype or the breadboard prototype. And it can be demonstrated to your investors or to the trade shows or to the market to collect the initial feedback and start testing the basically close to final solution, be it functional tests, integration tests, performance tests, or user acceptance testing. This is the crucial phase, and based on this feedback and a series of final tests, you are going to make some final fixes and changes to the design, software, and hardware that may be applied. Again, during the breakdown sessions, during these 3 separate workshops, you'll get some more information on each of those steps. Yay, we've gone through alpha prototyping, and it's time for a commercial launch as the final phase. And of course, it has some sub phases, and the first one is the beta prototype. Whenever we put together all the feedback, all the ideas we collected from the alpha prototype, it's time to build a prototype, which is a final assembly of the product. For software, for example, you are going to use, of course, the final build, the production environment, the production infrastructure. For embedded product, it will be a real manufactured enclosure and all the manufactured components that you are getting from your suppliers or you're manufacturing in-house. It's a great time for real field tests. And what you usually want to do is basically first demonstrate this beta prototype on events, as I said, demonstrate it to your investors, to the market, as well as probably select a limited group of customers. Final user acceptance testing and demonstrations are applied here. Michael?
Excellent. And thank you so much. And first of all, we have these great ideas that are out there, whether it's hardware products or software products or mobile apps. And in doing so, we've created almost like a roadmap to get from a vision to an actual product. So thank you so much, Dmitry, kind of hitting us on there. As we start preparing for our next section soon, we'll talk a little bit more about the actual web environment and the mobile environment, how to bring that product to light. But in doing so, it all takes steps. It all takes understanding. And of course, what you want to do is you want to get all the way to the commercial launch where you have the most success. And I'm going to send it back to Dmitry, so thank you so much for that.
No, that's fine. And it's just, thank you so much, Michael, for jumping in. I just wanted to make sure that on this final slide, make a few remarks here. So whenever we've done with this beta testing and you want to go live, make sure you follow all the steps, make sure you create the product launch checklist. That would include all the aspects of your launch, including infrastructure, data, documents, build and deploy processes. And boom, you have your first customer, Michael.
Excellent. Your first customer is all we want, and we're really excited about that. And for today's sake, we're going to get ready to join to some breakout rooms.